Cancer, to save some time, I already shuffled the cards and laid them out. I'm using a Celtic 10 card spread that allows me to look at past, present, and future influences. And as always, I'll be going through each card and teaching about it so we could all learn together. And so you start to build your own intuitive relationship with the cards, because that's what this channel is all about, is promoting the betterment of tarot and getting the benefit out of it, okay? And I want you to get a benefit this week, Cancer, because you're putting up a big facade. And I think there's a real large portion of you that really believe that things are going really well. And I want you to believe in that you set up the things for the next portion of your life, or the next section of your life, the next chapter, whatever you want to call it. It's starting to unveil itself, and it's a little bit different than what you thought that you were going to be at this point, okay? But the betterment is definitely for you. But I think that you're putting up a big facade because you're really worried. You're kind of tired. You're a little bit rattled inside from past experiences with people and situations. But don't let it shift your viewpoint on, again, the positivity that's starting to unveil for you, all right? I can see the hits. I can see the tiredness, like I said, and I could also see the indecision, and I don't want to have any of that, because that's what makes this reading kind of cockamamie. You've got a lot of confidence, a lot of self-esteem, a lot of really know-how and expertise, and, you know, kind of a good energy to move forward. But there's a part of you that's kind of like spooked by the shadow world, okay? And I think that's just from the past reflections of what you've been in. Let's get into why I'm saying this. I'm going to hop around a little bit as well too, okay? So the first card placement is the significator, kind of the general gist of the overall reading. And that's the Five of Swords. So really kudos to you, Cancer. It's a pat on the back from God in the universe that you really accomplished some stuff in your own identity. I recall from last week, it was just about being yourself and doing you and allowing that to kind of shine regardless of people's other perspectives or the way that they have their point of views. And that's really paid off for you. That's a reflection of the Five of Swords. That's kind of God in the universe saying, I'm sorry, Cancer, I had to mess with you, but I had to mess with you, or you never would have known yourself. You never would have known that self-confidence, that self-esteem, or the ability that you have and the power that you have within to make anything materialize. And that's the kind of reward of the Five of Swords. Five is good luck in tarot numerology, but in tarot, there's always something to get over to get to the good luck. And here is all you have to do is stand up. That's God in justice delivering the swords back to you, saying all your intellect, your logic, your strategy, your analytical thinking has all paid off. And I know it's taken a big toll on you, because especially because the journey to the ancient tarot with the swords of our thoughts is all about who we are. We're kind of justifying, defending, having a lot of friction to kind of, you know, say how we want to live our life, who we want to live it with, how we want to work. It's kind of the whole kit and caboodle, and it's all been pressuring you to decide what you want to do and who you want to do it with. And I could think that part of that is kind of what you thought would unveil in some ways, maybe in partnerships and romance, and also relationships and friendships would be under that domain. The reason why I say that is the second card, which is the crossing card in that placement, is what's blocking that your ability to stand up and grab your swords back from God, okay? And recognize that you've come so far in that kind of acknowledgement of who you are and digging you. But again, we're tired from this. We see that in the outcome card too. The Ten of Swords is a completion state in the minor arcana of the swords, the journey of that suit. Okay, so again, you're like sitting here getting that accolades from God in the universe, and you're just trying to reinforce that narrative in your own headset. But I think what's hurting you is your heart. The Three of Cups is a celebratory state, a foundational state to build on things for the heart. It represents marriage, partnership, friendships coming to a next level. But because it's a crossing card, I've got to wonder if that's been part of the push and pull for you in deciding who you were, or really are rather, not were. Who you were is leaving you behind, and who you are is starting to emerge. And that's always a difficult shift, especially when it's under the auspice of the swords, because it's never easy. And then if you throw the heart stuff in, oh, you really put in a dilemma for the Cancer. And I think also too, because in the seventh card placement and the identity of self, how you're feeling about yourself, is the Four of Wands, another indicator that the firm foundation, that's the four, in the area of the wands, the creative. It also represents taking a pause, kind of patting yourself on the back and looking how far I've come and look at what I've accomplished. And you really deserve those kudos. But the thing about the Four of Wands in my deck is you also come together with like-minded people. kind of like soulmates, kind of kindred spirits that are all kind of taking different paths, but all come to the same conclusions on who they are and where they want to go next. And because you're feeling that way, and the decision making of the Five of Swords is where do you want to go next with your life, right? And the heartbreak maybe of that Three of Cups, it's just an affirmation again that you need to do you. Okay, that's been the theme for a while now, Cancer. God's asking you to continue to do so, even if you've had some realistic viewpoints of the way that you want to move forward. Okay, that one way you thought you would do it, or maybe with the people that you thought you were doing it with, and now it's different. It's shifted in a way, but again, always for your betterment, Cancer. And that's what's happening here. It's again the affirmation that it is moving for your betterment. So I don't want you to have doubt or indecision about this kind of stuff. Okay, even if things aren't clearly mapped out, that's part of these cards too. It's kind of like a breather, a relaxation for you to take that meditative state, clear out, detox wherever that hurt of the heart is, and just, kind of get together for yourself to say, and where do you want to go next? And that's validated here in the third card position. And like I like to say, the top of the matter, God's direction for the week. And the Queen of Wands, that's you, Cancer, the Queen of the creative. This regal leader is a hottie tamale. So let's say we're putting ourselves back out there socially, or just wanting to bring a new flame and imagination to any kind of stagnant relationship or partnership, or things that had to break off. You've learned some stuff. It's not going to be the easy stuff that brings you to the Queen. It's going to be the tough up and downs of the creative journey, right? And a lot of people just consider that work, but for Cancer, it's going to be family, work, home, relationship, all those kinds of things, because your heart is just so big. And that's where your creative energy gets its flame, right? And that's a reassurance to you that you are the Queen. So have no doubts here. She's like a warm fire on a cold day, I often say. Everyone gravitates to the Queen, and it's not because of the way that we look. It's that self-confidence, self-esteem that we earned through taking those trials and tribulations. Especially, it's no coincidence that she's sitting on top of the Five of Swords. It's a validation that that tough journey has made you the Queen. She's a lioness. Don't mess with her. She's loving and forgiving, but she's also a lot of tough love as well. She'll kind of give you that universal slap to get you back in order. But that's you. So just trust the Queen, because she wants to kind of lead you in the new direction of wherever this is taking you. And she definitely does not want you to have, 4-4. So in the fourth position, she doesn't want you to have the non-exalted state of the Four of Pentacles. So the fourth position is the base of the matter in the 10-card spread. But I'd like to say it, the gut feeling of what we're feeling, right? In the Four of Pentacles, another indicator of the firm foundation, like the Four of Wands, that you have stuff to build upon, right? And the Pentacles is the material world. It's the earth signs and the zodiac and tarot. But it's also the material world, home, family, relationship, work, our health, our community. A lot of people just sliver it again, like the wands just sliver it into the work area. But I just find, especially like with the astrology sign like a Cancer, it's going to touch everything. It's a ripple effect for you guys, and for many of us too, right? And then in the exalted state, that's that firm foundation. Take that breath, kind of again pat on the back, look at how far you've come. And I really want you to take an honest review of that. If you were to look back 6 months or 6 years ago, you're not the same Cancer, and you've grown into the Queen. That's the validation in the reading, okay? But the non-exalted state of the Four of Pentacles, and because of some of these swords and this the tough stuff of the heart, and sitting underneath that thing about the Three of Cups, I don't want to shut down. I don't want to be scared of in work areas of competition. I don't want to be scared of sharing my know-how or my knowledge or my expertise. I don't want to shut down with the pocketbook or my spirit or my emotional flow of energy to other people and situations, right? Go on the exalted state. Know that you have the firm foundation to exalt the Queen into the next endeavors that you want to do, even if you have this hiccup right now. So let's not bother it, okay? Okay? All right, in the fifth card position, I can see again how tired, and just from the journey of taking an idea to bringing it to a reality, wherever that falls in the area of the earth signs of the material world. The fifth position is what's leaving your life right now. And we have the Nine of Pentacles. So another indicator, just like again, sitting under the Ten of Swords, okay? Things are wrapping up. Things are wrapping up in the work area. Things are wrapping up in family. Things are wrapping up in your own identity, how you want to do your life. Dig me, don't dig me, but you digging yourself, and that's paramount right now, okay? And don't make those kind of past thoughts make you tired. Cancer rules the past, so I don't want those little crab claws holding on to, like one arm is holding on to the past and one is kind of reluctantly moving into the future. No, I think you need to full fully around and just move forward, okay? The past is behind you, and that's the lesson of the cards, okay? So no shutting down here as well. And also, too, just that Nine of Pentacles, again, a pat on the moment back on your back to say, good job here, because we're ending up the minor arcana in the suit of the Pentacles. See, all his Pentacles are there. Ups and downs we all have on the journey, right? But no harm done. You've learned some stuff. That's how you become the queen. And we also see how other people view you is the Queen of Pentacles. So you've got two royal leaders in that scope of admiration, of leadership and mentorship, guides, healthy doses of compassion and gratefulness and abundance too. They both represent giving of the creative for the wands and the pentacles of the material world. So don't jack yourself up, Cancer, okay? Don't go back onto the negative side. Be the abundance that everyone sees you and you know in your heart and your head, and God also sees it as well, okay? I can see the turn on the wheel, and it leaves us all tired after we kind of get to that next horizon, but this is definitely a great turn for you, okay? And this gets validated in the 6-card position, the 10 of Pentacles. So we're leaving the 9 of Pentacles in the past reflection of the 5th card, and in the 6th card was what's happening right now is the 10 of Pentacles. I often like to say it's a happily ever after in the area of family, especially, okay? So it's like the White House, the picket fence, glasses tinkling, people laughing in the background, and you're standing back saying it was all worth it. And it was all worth it, Cancer. So ride that vibe, combine it with the Queen, and say, where are we going to go next? Take that vibe of family, the things that you have been working so hard for, not even just a few years, but like a decade or so, to get in place, to leave that legacy feeling of your family, get everything back together, get it all regrouped, and feeling groovy in that loving vibe that Cancer's so well known for, okay? And that gets reflected in the 10 of Pentacles. So again, good job here, Cancer. Ride that loving feeling into the future. And again, if there's a crossroads in your what you thought were partnerships or friendships or anything, Cancers are lovely people. So you can make friends anywhere. You can find your tribe. There's a reason why God had to break these certain situations. They weren't for your benefit. That wasn't the path that you meant to take right now. So new stuff. And don't feel, I'll also say this, because it's the partnership card. Let's say there's certain decision makings that you decided not to do the partnership, but you're still feeling really groovy about these people. Like you still feel a kindred spirit about them and they're friends and so on. Find that compassion of the Queens and deliver it, okay? So if you still want to be friends with something, like maybe one thing didn't work out, but another thing is more beneficial for you and them, then look at that as well. That's the kind of reflection this week is like, what is your betterment? But don't cut your nose off to spite your face, because that 4 of Pentacles can make us act like that, okay? So don't do it. And also, too, just the feeling of the 10 of Swords and the 9 of Pentacles, we're kind of done. Like, you know, we're finishing up that area of the suits, and it's a hard, tough journey in both of them, but especially the Swords. So don't tell yourself no until you really review everything like a Rubik's Cube, all right? Don't cut off your heart either for the love, because that's a reflection of that 4 of Pentacles. And especially with the 4 of Wands, there's still a firm foundation to build upon if that's what you so desire, okay? And in the 8th, like I said, how other people view you as a Queen of Pentacles, it's a beautiful reflection for a Cancer, because it's, especially with the Wands, it's like the hottie tamales of the Zodiac. I mean, the Zodiac, or the Tarot, rather. They're just great leaders, mentors, like I said, healers in a way, emotional and spiritual and material support. And this is how people look at you, and as well as God looks at you and wants you to buy into that energy this week. And so it's just really wonderful. I just love it for you. So I just want you again to buy in that glass half full and not half empty, because there's a lot of pressure on you in your mindset. Like I said, you have an outside persona of like, hey, everything's great, but there's an internal dialogue that's not pretty for yourself. And this gets validated in the 9th card position of our hopes and fears, the King of Pentacles. So unlike the Queen of Pentacles, who's really abundant and giving and loving and wants to share and take care of people and being of service, the King is the complete opposite. He's King Midas in my deck, so if you don't know how that turned out, everything he touched, he wanted to touch to turn to gold. So food, everything, it's all the gold at his feet. He puts in the material more value than the spirit. And that's definitely not the way of a Cancer. You need to go with the spirit, because you're so much creative energy. You could always make the gold coin materialize. So don't look at that as, let's say that partnership dissolved and it was something of a source of revenue as well for you. Don't look at it that way, because that's going to be the stingy reflection of the Queen of King of Pentacles. He to me, he only shows up to remind you that you have all the abundance and everything to make anything of the gold coin, and you rule the gold coin in astrology as well, too, in part, Cancer. So there's always a push and pull about that safety and security that you want for yourself and the people that you love, right? And a little hoarding, just like a little crab grabbing all those little stones and bringing them closer. And that's the King of Pentacles. It's to remind us not to kind of be cheap with our emotions as well as our pocketbook. And I'm not going to deny that the little pinching of the pocketbook happens with this as well. But don't let that scare you, because that's the point of it. I want to like shake you up like a tree. I got to get the dead leaves off, and the dead leaves are this guy. So I'm going to make you really look at and evaluate what's important in life. Is it the loving feeling that you get from just being a good, cool, funny person and loving and giving? Or are you going to be stingy McGingy, especially with the Four of Pentacles? Those two cards are the only two cards in the deck that mean that kind of, to me, of holding back of everything, resources and our feelings and our emotions. We have nothing. We're just shutting down. In my deck, he's got his arms crossed. He might as well have his legs crossed and his eyes crossed, for that matter, too. Okay, so because it's in hopes and fears, I would just think that you're not fully realizing within yourself that you can make anything materialize. You rule the gold coin. And I'll also say this, Cancer, if you were look back at every tight situation in your life, oh my God, I'm sweating it. I don't have money. I don't have this, or I don't have that. Every time you survived it. Every time you walked out on the other side, you always found those coins to put in your pocket and make everyone happy. Even if you had to stretch those coins to give that happy feeling, a vibe of loving family and loving other people, right? Okay, so that's the thing about this reading. I have part of you that's really grooving and magooving in the forward path, but then there's a part of you, and it's a big part of the brain set that's controlling and driving this like kind of vehicle of you. It's like shutting down. It's tired. It's feeling hurt, vulnerable. You're feeling very protective of all things. That would be a reflection of the King and the Four. So I don't want you to go there, okay? Especially because when we throw on the 10, 10 and 10 in the outcome position is the 10 of Swords. So good job here. That's the whole reflection of the 10. That's the exalted state that you took the journey for yourself. You made that mark for yourself. You showed other people, especially those loved ones or other people that had an opinion about you that wasn't favorable, right? That's the journey of the Swords. I'm pushing and pulling you till you know who you are. It's not going to happen with the butterflies and unicorns. You're not going to get to identifying who you are in true self, in that seed of who you are, in your character, ethics, integrity, ego, and pride. All that kind of stuff gets thrown in there with the 10 of Swords, but you've done it. And here's God in the universe saying, you take your time with these kind of foundation cards right now. Little Cancer, God's over you and justice standing over you. Don't worry about revenge or anything like that, okay? Cancer could get into that as well, so don't deal with that because that's God's domain. I want you to focus on the new day dawning, and it's dawning around you, because if you're holding on again yesterday to past resentments, especially of the hurt of the heart, you're just going to get screwed over by yourself. You're the only one that's drinking that poison right now, and God wants you to move on. That's a reflection of the 10 of Swords. That journey of the minor arcana, that suit is over. That identity for you is done, and you've earned it. So God's protecting you. All those furies, those negative thoughts don't need to bother you. So replant them in a new way, okay? And I just really need to validate that this is happening in an internal dialogue for yourself, because the bonus card validates that 10 of Swords with the 8 of Swords. And the 8 of Swords, to me, it's supposed to be in the bonus card. It's supposed to be the refresh, rejuvenation, the restart. That's what the 8 is, right? Like you feel like whew, a rush of wind coming at us, like the universe trying to push us along, going ahead. But the 8 of Swords in tarot, to me, is like the gerbil wheel of hell. It's like I'm going around and around and around and around of indecision. I can't make up my mind about what is good for me or what this. I might be getting a little bit of resentment. I'm like pissed off over here. Like that's the 8. It wants you to kind of get the refresh, to get the solid foundation to move in a new direction that's for you. And if you don't do it, we get to the 9 of Swords, which is the nightmare card. And then we get to the 10 of Swords. You're still putting up the good fight, but you're exhausted. And you're not believing yourself completely. And that's what the whole journey of the Swords is to build up your self-esteem, build up your self-confidence, which builds up your self-love. So don't block that energy, because you've earned it. You've already been through there. So untangle whatever is going on in that weed of a garden of a brain right now and get to the vibe of the loving. Do not shut down, Cancer, okay? That's the absolute theme this week, okay? And what's so great about it is you got so much goodness to outweigh what you think is the negativity, especially against other people and situations. Don't go there, not your domain, and it's holding you back. Okay, so because there's so much good unfolding, and and you've earned it too. You've been planning for it, strategizing, even if maybe sometimes it came out a quick upon you or whatever, like I said, but it's all for your betterment, and this is a reflection of that. So believe, 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 Cancers, and thank you for visiting the channel. And everyone, thank you for watching, subscribing, and all that other likes and comments. I just can't say thank you enough, Cancers. Thank you, thank you, thank you.